Anybody else in this game you want to highlight?
I would start Chris Olave this week, and I will admit he takes a hit if Jameis Winston sits because Jameis Winston loves throwing that deep ball to him. 307 air yards in week 2, 182 in week 3. He has by far the most air yards in the NFL, but what I love is he's been their top target 2 weeks in a row, 13 targets last week, 9 catches, 147 yards. He's going to find the end zone one of those catches as well. I think the upside is so high, and I think at this point, it's a legit conversation like him versus Michael Thomas, and I actually have him ranked higher this week.
Chris Olave in the last 2 weeks has more air yards than anybody else has for the rest of the season. I mean, it helps when one game you have 300 plus air yards, but it's insane. But that's where he is. And he really has become a guy. I don't know if he's a must start, but he very much deserves roster or lineup consideration each and every week. Browns at the Falcons. Start David Njoku. And I know coming into the season, there were a lot of people who were on the Njoku train. I was very much sort of wait and see because we hadn't seen much. And then especially once Jacoby Brissett got the starting job, I was very suspect of Njoku. But the last couple of weeks, he really has become a big part of the passing game. It's a passing game that is pretty narrowly funneled. It's a lot of Amari Cooper. It's some Donovan Peoples-Jones, and it's David Njoku. And those are the guys really getting the targets here. On top of it, it is a great matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. I know we have been on the trade Amari Cooper train. I still think over the long term, I don't want that volatility week to week, but this is one more week that I think the Browns pass catchers are in play.
I wrote about Amari Cooper for the 4th straight week in the Start 'em Sit 'em article, but for the first time, he is a start, not a sit. And then David Njoku was my most added player on waivers, so I agree 100% with you on that.
Commanders at the Cowboys, the longtime rivals, although this is the first time they're playing as the Commanders, right? They have been through several name changes.
I saw on Twitter today they got their black helmets in today, so maybe they break that out on Sunday.
Interesting. So the Commanders in black helmets going against their longtime rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. Where are you going in this one?
I think in this game you can start Curtis Samuel, and I think you could start him with confidence. He has been the Commanders' top target every game so far this year. He's averaging 10 targets a game with at least 9 every week. And I know the air yards don't look great and stuff, but the way they're using him is just smart. Like, they're using Dotson and McLaurin to stretch the field, and then everything underneath that is getting opened up by that is going to Curtis Samuel. Like, they're using him in the run game. I know we talk about it all the time. There's not a lot of Debo. There's one Debo Samuel, but he's kind of like a Debo light, and they're using him like that, and I love the usage for him, so I would be starting Curtis Samuel everywhere I have
He's
him.
like Kroger brand Debo Samuel is what he is. And that's fine, though. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's working for the Commanders. It's working for Curtis Samuel, and if you've got him, then you've got a really nice flex option every week. Seahawks at the Lions. We talked a little bit about Amon-Ra St. Brown and his ankle injury and what that means for him and for the Lions. On the other side, I've got Geno Smith as a sleeper this week. I mentioned he threw the ball 44 times. We talked about that with Rashad Penny and what that meant potentially for him. But before last week, Pete Carroll came out and said he wants this offense to be more up-tempo. And essentially, without saying it, they're going to let Geno cook. He threw the ball 44 times. We saw both DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett have decent days. The Seahawks as a whole still have a whole lot of issues, but going against that Lions defense, against a Lions team that has been scoring points and forcing its opponents to score with them, weirdly, I think Geno has some sleeper appeal. I never thought I'd say that, but this is where we are right now.
I agree with you on that. I think this is a weird week for quarterback sleepers because, like you said, like Mariota and Brissett, I think, are in play there. Geno Smith, like, it's a weird week. You're not going to feel great looking at your roster with those names in it, but I think they're in play.
I looked at the schedule this week and I thought there's not going to be a lot of games that have high point totals potentially. And so because of that, you do get some sort of unorthodox sleepers around the way. That's a tease, though. We're going to come up with some sleepers a little bit later in the show, so make sure you stick around for that. Also, stick around past this break because we're going to come back. On the plus side, though, you can start Khalil Herbert. And I think you especially can start him if David Montgomery's not able to go. But even if Montgomery is a go this week, I think the matchup is good enough for Herbert against the Giants, and I think the opportunity is going to be there. He really is carving out a role for himself in this offense. And look, I think if David Montgomery misses time, I think you're going to see that opportunity share grow for Herbert, where it becomes maybe not a 50-50 split, but I could see a maybe a 60-40 sort of thing in that Chicago backfield, with Herbert starting to get a lot more work.
I have David Montgomery in one league, and I'm very I have Herbert as well, and I'm just like, Monty, sit. Like, it's easier if we have one guy than if we have two.
I think that's going to be the case. So start Khalil Herbert. And again, if Monty doesn't play, especially start Khalil Herbert. So Naji Harris is a must start this week. And he's been okay. He hasn't been special the first few weeks of the season. I think this potentially is a big-time opportunity for Naji Harris. The Jets have been vulnerable to running backs, vulnerable on the ground. They've also been giving up receptions, and we know that's a big part of what Harris does. And especially with the Steelers still trying to figure some things out in their passing game. I mean, there were calls for Kenny Pickett a couple of weeks ago because Mitch Trubisky is not really setting the world on fire. But I think they lean heavily on Naji Harris this week against the Jets. And I think this is one of those games that you'll look back and you're like, this is why I drafted Naji Harris where I did. So I think the game on paper, on the scoreboard, is going to stay close. But I do see a lot of Naji Harris this week.
I agree. And I think if the Steelers somehow lose this week, we might get Kenny Pickett after that.
We might get Kenny Pickett back, absolutely. Bills at the Ravens, which could be the game of the week. At least on paper, it looks like the game of the week between two teams that are very much contenders in the AFC. And what do you suggest for this one?
I think you start everyone in this game pretty much, but we're going to focus on Gabe Davis here. Gabe Davis had a big week 1 against the Rams. He caught a long touchdown. He was used downfield. Missed week 2 due to an ankle injury, and then had a down week 3. I'm willing to give him a pass, though. Stephon Diggs, after the game, said he had never been more tired in his life, and he had IVs in both arms at one time. And he was all of us had full body cramps. And there was a play late in that game where Gabe Davis dropped it, and he just looked defeated. Like, he had nothing left at all. I think in this game, though, against the Ravens, where they've given up by far the most fantasy points to receivers, I think it could be, like you said, a massively high-scoring game between two defenses that are very banged up right now. I'm starting Davis, Diggs, Bateman, anyone, Andrews, anyone in the passing games, I'm starting.
I definitely like the Bills passing game in this one because the Ravens, shockingly, have been carved up in their secondary this year. So with Josh Allen, you're starting him anyway. You're starting Stephon Diggs anyway. But with the Ravens secondary struggling, this is a good opportunity to get any Bills pass catchers into your lineup that you can. On the other side, though, you can start Damien Pierce. And maybe this is just a general going forward sort of thing. I mean, until things change, Damien Pierce is startable in pretty much every format. The Texans have finally decided they are going to turn the backfield over to him. I knew it was coming. It just still baffles me that they somehow gave Rex Burkhead all these touches in week 1, and then week 2 they're like, yeah, no, Damien Pierce, it's yours. But just the way they're using him has been great. Maybe he even starts to get some more targets here. The Charger run defense looked bad again last week. James Robinson's carving everybody up, but he carved up the Chargers again. So that gives me a little more confidence in Damien Pierce. So to me, he's a guy who should definitely be in your starting lineup this week. Against Aaron Rodgers, that's not exciting, but I will tell you that I think you can start Aaron Rodgers this week. And we saw him kind of get off to a quick start last week against the Bucs. Then it sort of fizzled out the rest of the game. I think we get some more consistency, and I think we see him spread the ball around. I don't know that there's one Packer receiver we can trust week in and week out, but I think he'll get it out to Dobbs. He'll get it out to Allen Lazard. I'm curious to see what happens when Sammy Watkins and Christian Watson come back, but I do think you're going to see him kind of spread the ball around. Maybe we see more Aaron Jones in the passing game too as well. So there won't be a lot of weeks I think we look and say Aaron Rodgers for sure. I feel great about it, but this seems like a week where maybe you can get that fringe QB1 numbers from him. He's like QB 25, 26, something like that. It's been bad for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm hoping, though, the one thing I'm hoping from this Packers passing game is just keep throwing the ball to Romeo Doubs. He looks like a legit potential wide receiver 1 for that team.
He really does. So hopefully he just continues to be more involved. Broncos at the Raiders. The Broncos coming off that ugly win against the 49ers, after which Russell Wilson came on in the postgame and said, hey, it was a great game. And everybody's like, what game were you watching, dude? Because
your punter's the MVP.
Right. But this week, are you in on Danger Russ?
This might sound crazy to say, but I have Russ as a start this week, and my argument is threefold. One is the matchup. The Raiders have allowed the 4th most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks, and every quarterback who has faced them has scored at least 18. The other was a tweet that was tweeted out by Benjamin Albright, who covers the Broncos, pointed out that In Aaron Rodgers' first year with Nathaniel Hackett, he was slow out the gate as well. And week 4, he really exploded. 422 and 2 touchdowns, and he was better from then on out. So hopefully that's the case with Russell Wilson. And my third argument is like, it's just blind faith, man. Like Russ isn't this bad, right? Like he didn't fall this far this quickly. So I'm hoping a little bit more time in the system, a better matchup, because he has like the 49ers are a tough defense to face. So hopefully better matchup, a little bit more points scored. He plays better.
I do like Russell Wilson this week for at least 2 of the 3 reasons. I didn't know the Albright thing, but I felt like the matchup was good. I felt like it can't keep getting worse than it was.
No.
I'll say this. Would you start Russell Wilson over Justin Herbert?
Right now, I have Herbert ranked higher, but that's going to be a monitor type of situation because if they do come out and they talk about maybe pulling Herbert, because that's what Staley said last week. So when the game got out of hand, I probably should have talked to Herbert and pulled him. If that is the rumor going in, then I think you can do that. But if it sounds like Herbert's good to go, I'd probably go with Herbert.
All right. Chiefs at Bucks, that is on Sunday Night Football. A couple of teams looking to bounce back after losses last week. For me, Leonard Fournette is an absolute must-start this week. The Bucks still trying to figure out their wide receiver situation. Mike Evans should be back after the 1-game suspension, but we're still waiting to see what is the situation with Chris Godwin. It was sort of nice to see Russell Gage get some action late in that game, but still have a lot of questions about that passing game. I do think you're going to see Brady check it down to Leonard Fournette quite a bit, and the Chiefs have had a ton of problems with pass-catching running backs so far the first few weeks of the season. So this feels like a game where Tampa has to lean on Fournette a little bit. Plus, with their defense playing well, this could be a lower scoring game. I don't think this is going to be – look, last year you would expect the Chiefs and Bucks to be, hey, if the game is 42-38, it wouldn't be a surprise. This year, I don't feel like either of those offenses are primed to run it up like that. So this could be kind of a low-scoring game. So league winner Lenny, absolutely in your lineup this week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He doesn't leave the field.
Right, which is funny. All this talk of like Rachaad White coming to take over his job, it was just like last year with Keyshawn Vaughn's coming to take over his job, and Leonard Fournette just keeps stiff-arming all these guys.
He's played like 90-something% of the snaps. It's insane.
Right, so we can kill all this other talk about other running backs back there in Tampa.